The Philippines has the third largest Catholic population in the world after Brazil and Mexico. Introduced by colonizers from Spain during the early 16th century, Catholicism served as the state religion during 300 years of Spanish colonial rule. In 2021, 85.7 million Filipinos, roughly 78% of the population, celebrated the 500th anniversary of the arrival of Catholicism in the country. From the very beginning, the Catholic Church has been an enduring institution in the Philippines, its voice present in the confessional and the classroom, the small pulpit, and national policy. In more modern times, it can be argued that the Church has been guided by liberation theology, a school of thought partly inspired by the Second Vatican Council and the 1967 papal encyclical Pulorum Progressio. Liberation theology holds that the gospel of Christ demands the Church concentrates its efforts on liberating the people of the world from poverty and oppression. Some factions of the Philippine clergy stepped out of the pulpit, went out on the proverbial and literal streets, and involved themselves in social justice issues, especially politics. It reached its apex in 1986, when the Church wielded its powers during the People Power Revolution, a peaceful and non-violent revolt involving millions of citizens that successfully ousted dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr. While 71% of Filipinos still view religion as an important part of their lives, some experts say that the Catholic Church's influence has been waning in recent years. This evolving dynamic is perhaps most evident in the national debate on reproductive rights, where growing public support for access and choice has clashed with the Church's long-standing opposition. The Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, the national episcopal conference in the country, was strongly against the passage of a law mandating the public availability of contraceptives. This despite a survey that showed more than 70% of Filipinos in favor of the law, and 84% believing in a government duty to provide free family planning to the poor. In the end, the reproductive health law was fully enacted in 2021, exposing one major weakness. Religious influence does not always translate into legislation. But despite this perceived decline of the Church's political clout, it still has the ability to mobilize on a community level, and its consistent moral positions in an era of technology-driven change gives it an edge. For decades, the Church has been unwavering in its poverty alleviation advocacies, as it continues to be an issue in the Philippines. While the country has experienced economic growth in recent years, a persistent wealth gap remains. In a 2024 Philippine Statistics Office report, the national poverty incidence among Filipino families in the previous year was recorded at 10.9%. This is equivalent to 2.99 million families without enough income to meet their basic food and non-food needs. More Filipinos see themselves as poor, with self-rated poverty rising to its highest level in 21 years, according to the latest national survey. In rural communities, the incidence is often worse. Against this backdrop, the Church has not stayed silent, even with limited resources. It continues to meet the most critical needs of struggling Filipino men, women, and children through various social service and development programs, including relief efforts, education initiatives, and community empowerment, often through organizations like Caritas Manila and Angkop, or Answering the Cry of the Poor, or grassroots programs such as Pondo ng Pinoy or Fund of the Filipino, which has raised over 500 million pesos over 2 decades. Long-term social issues aside, the Church has also taken a strong stance on more recent instances of social injustice, most notably its criticism of former President Rodrigo Duterte's controversial war on drugs. This intensified anti-drug campaign, which ran from 2016 to 2022, aimed to curb drug proliferation in the country and saw a reported decline in drug-related activity. However, it was heavily criticized by the international community for its allegation of extrajudicial killings perpetrated by police and unidentified assailant. By the end of Duterte's term, the official government numbers were at 6,252 deaths, but human rights organizations and academics estimate that between 12,000 to 30,000 civilians have been killed. Efforts by the church to rally public support against the war on drugs struggled to gain national traction. Duterte's popularity and high trust rating rendered the church's warnings easier to dismiss. Still, some parishes reportedly offered sanctuary to those who fear death due to the drug war-related violence. In a nation where the body count kept rising, the church chose not silence, but sanctuary. Yet, it was a sanctuary that many feared was shrinking. In a 2018 article, the Pulitzer Center posited the quandary that the Catholic Church in the Philippines is facing. Quote, "In the overwhelmingly Catholic Philippines, President Rodrigo Duterte characterized his 2016 election as a referendum between him and the church. For the past 2 years, he has waged a brutal war on drugs, killing thousands of Filipinos while prosecuting a parallel assault on the church. Despite bloodshed and blasphemy, Duterte has retained popular support. The government's tolerance for the rising number of extrajudicial killings has forced the church, once the most influential institution in the country, to a moral crossroads. The global church has a long and troubling history of complicity with authoritarian regimes, and while the Filipino church officially opposes the drug killings, it is wrestling with deep division beneath the surface. Some priests have tempered their criticism of Duterte in hopes of preserving the church's secular influence, while others have taken to the pulpit to call out fellow clergymen for their silence." Unquote. The Catholic Church has played and continues to play an incredibly important role in Filipino society. Filipinos rely on it to find comfort, guidance, and moral support in their lives. It is an institution of tension between history and the present, between reverence and relevance. The question that now echoes is not whether the Catholic Church has power, but whether it still knows how and where to wield it, and more urgently, will the people still listen when the Church speaks for social good?